But what even is this? Now, there's an account called Post United, which is relatively serious. These guys, come on, they're not some weirdos. It may not be the most important football account, but I'm really surprised that they're already going with this number. Now, quoting David Ornstein, who hasn't said this gentleman has said what we already mentioned in the previous video, that Arsenal wants him and that things are still open. And depending on whether Madrid reaches an agreement with Vinicius, and this man didn't say either that Vinicius is going to lower his financial demands, but they've come out with this quoting him without saying that he's talking about this amount, but they go ahead and mention this amount, 145 million. Well, in this video, we're going to talk, of course, the match that just ended a little while ago, this first friendly, first in quotes, because Madrid had already played against Alcorcón and Leganés. They've been repeatedly saying on Real Madrid television that it was Fiorentina's fourth friendly and Madrid's first, but that's not entirely true. It was actually Madrid's third. It's another thing that those first two matches were kind of ghost games and all that because we only saw them for a bit. But anyway, it's the third time they've suited up with their jersey. Real Madrid is playing in more than just a training session. And today the opponent was tougher. The first half was great, but the second half wasn't as good. We'll discuss the match shortly, but first I have to talk about this. I could save it as a hook for later, but what I just saw was too surprising. I wanted you to leave in the comments what you think. Would you sell him for those 145 million, taking that figure with a big grain of salt, like I said? What about you? I mean, it's absolutely huge because where does this come from? Besides, I started looking elsewhere and only these guys are saying it, right? And of course, that's what we've talked about in these last videos. If Vinicius gets an offer now from Arsenal, if Vinicius is offered the money that he thinks he would earn by staying at Real Madrid, which is what he's asking for, right? The 80 as an extension bonus plus the salary he's asking for and all that, he won't care what Arsenal pays. Arsenal pays Madrid, sorry, but because he will already have his share. But of course, what kind of salary package are we talking about for him? The most likely thing here in the bringing it back to reality, what Arsenal pays Real Madrid, they no longer pay to Vini. And honestly, it's really hard for me to understand that they'd pay this to Madrid. And to Vinicius, they also shower him with gold, giving him everything he wants, because this isn't the miracle of the loaves and fishes. I mean, even if Arsenal comes in really strong, this is how it is. Now, sorry, there's also something very important about this, and it's that according to what they say, Arsenal doesn't want to get involved in this in January either. They're pushing this auction to get into this bidding war for Vini because they think there are other clubs that could offer more. But, well, it doesn't really add up for me either. Because if you're already offering this and you're giving Vinicius what he's asking for, then you're already going through with a deal. Well, I mean, in the end, it's massive. It's something that goes beyond any reasoning, although in the Premier League, well, if they pay over 100 for any average player, why wouldn't they pay it? For Vini, it was expected they'd pay less since he has a year left. The situation is tough for Madrid, and the market senses this, so you offer less. Come on. I mean, 145, sorry. If Vinicius keeps asking Madrid for the same thing, Madrid has stood its ground, and it's right to do so. And then someone else comes and says, I'll give you 145. What do you want me to say? Loving Vini a lot, of course, but if he doesn't come down to what Madrid is asking, hey, it's an incredible deal. It's an incredible deal. Let's go back to other summers when the Arabs supposedly were offering 300, 400 million, but that was never official. There was a lot of talk about that, and you say it's less. Of course, it's less, but I insist that was never confirmed. This still isn't official, of course, but wow, I think that with about a year to go, well, 6 months or less before his contract ends. Sorry, before he's a free agent, they're offering you this. Absolutely, you should take it. With all the pain in my heart, because we would be losing someone very dear to us. Some of you might be saying in the comments, no, not for me. Not so much, because there have been Real Madrid fans who lately just couldn't put up with certain things from Vinicius anymore. I still had patience with the kid. Well, let's see if this is true, because of course, so many things are being said. But there's another topic. Now let's talk about Diomandé. There's another topic that I've connected to this, and I find it interesting. Almost at the same time, it hasn't been made official, but everyone is already saying it, that Bruno Guimaraes is the new Arsenal player. And yesterday, Bruno Guimaraes, where is he? Oh, I had it here. And well, if you remember, wait a moment, I'll look for it. If you remember, yesterday, Bruno Guimaraes posted, no, his agent, Alexis Malavolta, posted this photo of him hugging Vinicius while playing for Brazil. And they started saying he's doing this because, of course, his client is going to sign now, because this has been talked about for days. It didn't surprise anyone, right? The footballer and Arsenal connection, plus the hug with Vinicius, isn't a coincidence. I think that obviously there's interest from Arsenal, more than just interest. There's a clear intention. There aren't any numbers yet, and these people dare to mention those amounts, but something is definitely going on there. I think it seems pretty obvious. And what seemed to be all but done was the situation with Diomandé. Florian Plettenberg said this morning that, watch out, he wasn't going to travel, but that things weren't as they were being reported. He didn't say it like that literally, but if we start comparing versions here, it wasn't as he says. And Fabrizio Romano keeps saying that it's absolutely done and that no one from Madrid should worry that this is done. And basically, they're just buying time. Who knows for what reason? Maybe because they're looking for a replacement at Leipzig. Que Real Madrid fans shouldn't worry, said Florian Plettenberg. Wait, because this is taking longer than expected. And Ramon says that apparently it's gotten complicated because they still haven't reached an agreement. Whether it's 120, 130, if the fixed amount is 100, they don't actually reach 130, right? 130 at most, and that would be the highest figure when you include the add-ons. I don't know if in the end it'll be 110, 115, 120 plus the add-ons, but that's something that still needs to be resolved. Someone might say, but not 100, 110, 115, 120 plus add-ons, but that still needs to be sorted out. He didn't go. I don't know if in the end he didn't play the match that Leipzig had, and that was a sign that should have made us even more at ease. Yes, and that's what I thought. But Michelis came out. I didn't know that this was Michelis' coach. He wasn't the one who relegated Mallorca. Well, now he's there. And they asked him, and he said, no, Diomandé didn't travel because he's sick. He didn't travel because he's sick, not because they don't want to expose him since the signing is very close. Look, this wouldn't be the first time they've lied to us like this. No, he's sick. No, he can't. Which isn't something very significant either. But what is clear is that it's a signing that seemed done 7 days ago and is still stalled for one reason or another. And now let's get to the match, because I really liked what Madrid did in the first half, especially this goal by Endrick, which is the first one. Look, we're focusing a lot on the first one. The cross seemed to be going to Dumfries. In fact, the Dutchman touches it a little, and we'll explain why. Dumfries has played as a winger today. Trent Alexander-Arnold played behind him, which I thought made more sense the other way around, right? Dumfries as the fullback going up and down, and Trent in the midfield. But no, this was just Mourinho's first experiment. You can't draw too many conclusions from this either. But anyway, I really like this goal by Endrick as a center forward, how he turns easily, winds up with very little space and in very little time, and strikes it like that. David De Gea didn't even see it. He didn't even see it. In a Fiorentina team that, by the way, had David Jimenez, academy products from Madrid. Well, De Gea, who was one fax away from coming to Madrid. David Jimenez was there, and Valdepeñas came on later, who just signed for Fiorentina under that 50% deal for Madrid. We have kids from the academy spread all over the world. Anyway, like I said, Endrick did very well with those moves, and not just in the first goal. In the second goal, he also makes a key move to open up space in the box. Guller also helps by jumping over so that Alexis Syria, who I really like, could score the second goal. This Syria is a good winger who has been at Real Madrid since January. He has played for the youth team, Castilla, and the main Madrid team, and has scored goals for all three. It's very difficult for him. This will be another one of those 50% sales, I think, unless, he really breaks through. And today he gave me a really good impression. Madrid started the match. Mourinho went with this starting 11 with Andre Lunin in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold as right back, Carrera as left back. At center back, the central defensive pair was John Martinez and Mario Rivas. The goals came from there because there's a lack of experience in that center back pairing, right? And that's understandable. It's no big deal. Besides, it's just a friendly match. It's no big deal. The boys will learn. Well, Dan Frisch played as a winger. On the right, in midfield, Alexis Syria, same thing. I mean, two wingers. Come on, they were in midfield positions, but they also played as attackers. Fede Valverde and Camavinga as the playmakers, as a staggered double pivot, and Guller, who did a little bit. Sorry, my throat always bothers me. They say drink water, Miguel Serrano, so I'll do that. And Guller as an attacking midfielder, Guller played well. I really liked the Turk in the first half, I insist, with a lot of movement. I mean, very involved. The truth is, well, having a 2-0 lead overturned isn't nice, right? And that's what happened in the second half. Fiorentina came out better. We enjoyed a few minutes of Carlos Espi, and we saw what he can do. Hey, he's a penalty box striker. He's always in the box, protecting the ball really well. He had a play where he shielded the ball very well. He tried to turn and shoot. No, he couldn't do it, but I like him because he's a tank and he holds up play. We've said it in all these videos, right? For that kind of game that Madrid would want when they haven't broken the deadlock, when it's going to be a draw, when they need goals and all that, it's good as an option. At the end, on the last play, Trent Alexander-Arnold sent in a cross. He'll be making plenty when Madrid needs it. To the far post, and this kid, who's 1.94 meters tall, came in to finish. I thought, well, this has to be a goal because, well, the Fiorentina defender didn't even come close to challenging him. He was 2 heads taller and headed it in a really strange way, sending it upwards. Hey, you can also understand the nerves. He arrived at Madrid yesterday. Today is his first match. It's totally understandable. But, well, the good thing is that we've already seen him score those kinds of goals, and he'll get chances like that in this type of match. Jorge Sestero Yanez, they've played a few minutes really well, honestly. Also La Costa and Mini. Fati, who has been a left back, surprised me. Of course, he's left-footed, so he can play in that left back position. Besides, we have 3 left backs at Madrid. I think it was just a temporary thing, naturally, and also a bit so that everyone or almost everyone could play, because I think some of them didn't get to play. Well, as far as I remember, there was, look, Sergio Mestre. Well, Mestre, that's understandable because he's a goalkeeper. Forte didn't play either, nor did Garcia and Jacob Ortega, the forward. He didn't play either. Well, a debut from which you can draw very few conclusions. And we also enjoyed seeing Real Madrid youth players on the other team who might be able to come back someday. So hopefully Alex Jimenez and Valdepeñas, I hope they succeed at Fiorentina, get talked about in the coming years, and eventually return to Real Madrid. Well, guys, that's it for now. Hope everything goes well for you. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. Comment, share, please. And that's it. Hype up the video. To help this keep growing and reach 130,000, yeah, a nice round number of subscribers on this channel. And have a great Saturday night. Bye.